This video explores the evolving and controversial trade policies under Donald Trump's administration, focusing on tariffs as a centerpiece of his economic strategy. Despite the chaos and unpredictability seen in Trump's tariff decisions, his team believes these actions are part of a deliberate and grand plan to reshape the global economic order. This plan aims to reverse U.S. deindustrialization, restore America's manufacturing strength, and maintain the U.S. dollar's position as the world's reserve currency. The video places Trump's tariff policies within the context of historical international economic systems shaped by the U.S. The Bretton Woods system from 1944 to 1973, which combined currency stability, military alliances and industrial aid, and the neoliberal world order, spanning the 1980s to 2016, marked by free trade and flexible exchange rates. But the world has changed since then. Trump's team is concerned about the strategic risks posed by U.S. deindustrialization, especially in the wake of China's industrial rise and military ambitions in Asia. Their strategy unfolds in three key steps. First, imposing high tariffs broadly to create negotiating leverage, often referred to as tariff chaos. Second, moving toward reciprocal tariffs to level the playing field in trade. And third, concluding a Mar-a-Lago-style currency accord that weakens the dollar just enough to boost U.S. exports without sacrificing its reserve currency status. However, achieving this new global order presents significant challenges. It requires other countries to accept a subordinate role in exchange for U.S. security and market access. The success of this plan depends on convincing enough nations to join this new order, which remains uncertain. So what are the next steps? Trump's tariff chaos is a deliberate first step in a larger plan to reshape global trade. Tariffs as strategic leverage. Trump's aggressive tariff policies may seem erratic but are designed to generate negotiating power. By imposing tariffs broadly, on allies and adversaries alike, the United States aims to compel trade partners into accepting new rules that better serve American interests. This approach marks a shift from traditional trade diplomacy toward more forceful conditioning, suggesting the administration's willingness to endure short-term economic pain for long-term geopolitical gains. The new U.S. economic approach aims to reverse decades of deindustrialization. Deindustrialization as a national security threat, the Trump's team focus on reviving U.S. manufacturing power from both economic and security concerns. With manufacturing jobs decimated over decades and China's extraordinary industrial capacity, U.S. dependence on foreign production poses risks in military mobilization and global strategic positioning. This perspective highlights how economic policy is deeply intertwined with defense planning in the current geopolitical landscape. Maintaining the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency is central to the strategy. Maintaining the dollar's reserve currency status is a core challenge. The U.S. dollar's role as the world's reserve currency grants the U.S. enormous economic and geopolitical advantages, including the ability to run large deficits without currency crises. However, efforts to reindustrialize and weaken the dollar to boost exports appear contradictory. The Trump team's solution involves incentivizing allied countries to peg their currencies to the dollar in a managed and reciprocal system, maintaining the dollar's dominance while addressing competitive imbalances. The United States perceives economic strength as vital for national security amid rising Chinese competition. Trust deficit undermines the new global order vision. The success of Trump's plan depends heavily on the willingness of other nations to participate in this new economic and security compact. However, Trump's unpredictable actions, such as tearing up trade agreements, threatening close allies, and erratic foreign policy moves, strain the trust necessary for countries to accept subordinate roles or currency adjustments. Without broad multinational buy-in, the new order risks fragmentation or even conflict, reflecting the delicate balance of hard power, economic interests, and diplomacy. Reciprocal tariffs are intended to create a level playing field and reduce unfair trade practices. The political economy of tariff-induced change. Unlike historical trade wars that destroyed wealth globally, Trump's team believes the unique position of the United States as the largest consumer market gives it leverage others lack. By extending tariffs universally, they aim to prevent trade diversion schemes that undermined previous efforts. This insight underscores how the interplay of currency dominance and market size can reshape the traditional consequences of protectionism, although risks remain high and outcomes uncertain. The Trump administration's tariff policies and broader economic strategy are part of a bold plan to reshape global trade, protect U.S. industries, and maintain American influence in the world. While this plan is ambitious and rooted in a historical view of economic power, it faces major challenges, especially in diplomacy, economics, and trust. Understanding this approach helps explain current U.S. trade actions and gives us a glimpse into possible future changes in global trade and politics. But the big question is this plan actually working? To answer that, we need to look at the three main areas where success is needed: diplomacy, economics, and trust. Diplomacy. So far, this administration has not made progress in building strong international relationships. In fact, it has done the opposite. Public attacks on longtime allies such as Mexico, Canada, and European nations have damaged the U.S. global image. No other U.S. president has insulted so many leaders and countries at once. These actions have weakened alliances that took decades to build. Economics. After putting the plan into action, the results have been troubling. The United States and global stock markets have suffered. The value of the dollar has dropped. Americans have faced job losses, rising inflation, and shortages of everyday goods. These are not signs of a healthy or effective economic plan. Trust. Trust takes years to build and seconds to break. For decades, democratic countries believed the United States would stand by them in times of need. That trust is now fading. Actions and comments from this administration, like suggesting Canada should become a United States state or cozying up to leaders like Vladimir Putin, have alarmed the world. One especially shocking moment was when President Trump and others mocked Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, a man admired worldwide for standing up to Russian aggression. Trump even claimed Ukraine wasn't invaded and blamed them for their own situation, while publicly siding with Putin. These statements shocked many and damaged the United States' credibility. Other examples include suggesting that Greenland would become United States territory, upsetting Denmark, saying he owned Palestine and would build a luxury resort there, disrespecting the South African president by sharing false claims about violence against white farmers. These repeated incidents show a lack of respect for other nations and leaders, which hurts the United States' reputation and makes it harder for the world to trust American leadership. Final thoughts. Yes, there is a plan, but that doesn't mean it's a good one, or that it will work. So far, the results have been poor. The United States is more isolated, trust has eroded, and the economy is struggling. Whether this changes in the future remains to be seen. For the good of the American people, we can only hope things improve.